Last episode focused primarily on real-life possibilities and a video game designed to put people into a catatonic trance designed by Darren Brown and his team. But let's focus on some tangible evidence this time. There are some photos of Polybius cabinets out there, and the most mysterious one is often claimed to have come from a photocopied page of a magazine from an arcade sales catalog. But unfortunately, the photo is a fake. It definitely doesn't hold up when put through photo forensics. My gut says that it's one of many Polybius recreation cabinets that enthusiasts have created that have been cropped and altered to look older than it is. The name of the font used in the image for the marquee is Bias Titel, and although the font doesn't come with any information regarding authorship or creation date, it is a true type font. And that format wasn't released until 1991, so I think we can rule anything with this font out of the running in terms of real photographic evidence. But what about the screenshots? Well, photoshopping a screenshot is ridiculously easy, and it uses the same font. But let's suspend our disbelief for a moment and assume the font was based on the screenshot. The standard resolution at the time for an arcade monitor was between 262.5 and 315 vertical lines, which, since this is a vertical game, the screenshot does fall into that category at 302. The main tip-off for me is the title itself. It doesn't respect safe zones. And once you take into account the overscan on monitors and the bezel, which sometimes obscures a small amount of the screen, the title would end up far too close to the sides and be cut off from view. The second thing is the copyright line. Because the person who created this wanted to include the accent on the O, they cut and paste a larger box than just the text. You can see it a little in the original image, but it becomes very clear when you throw it into photo forensics. Also, I know this is subjective, but it's not much of an attract screen. We already know the Phoenix screenshot that somehow got confused for Polybius as an April Fool's joke based on a real ROM called Phoenix, so that's definitely not what we're looking for here. And literally everything else I can find that had a chance of being a real screenshot or photo was either from a modern interpretation of the game, or fan art generally used for thumbnails or videos or podcasts about the game, and some 3D models of the cabinet. So concrete information isn't easy to find. But there are multiple reports of the police and FBI raiding Portland arcades. But that was, according to people recounting the stories, because the police were staking out arcades for drug and illegal gambling busts. That's not to say there weren't other reasons police went to the arcades, even the exact chain we've been talking about, the Malibu Grand Prix. From the New York Times, July 3rd, 1983. 2 teenagers were arrested today, and a third person was being sought in connection with the stabbing deaths of 4 young employees during the robbery of a miniature racetrack and video game center, a homicide detective said. Perhaps this real incident accounts for the deaths some Polybius retellings include. Same chain, memories are not good. So even after researching this for so long, I am not sure where I stand on this. If the legend is true, or based in truth, it's had over 40 years to evolve, either due to embellishment or misremembering. And through the years, there have been many hoaxes based on Polybius, even if it didn't start that way. At the very least, I can see why 1981 was the year in which the Polybius legend takes place. There's too many provable incidents that occurred that year. Deaths, sickness, FBI raids, and a general uncertainty regarding video games. By 1998, much of that information was available to the public. Another option is that this was completely faked, an early version of creepypasta that took off, and like many successful works, evolved along the way. But the thing that holds me back in being certain in this, governments have had their hands in video games. They have investigated mind control. They have tested on unknowing participants. All of the technology and side effects seem to be plausible even in the early days of video games. That's something I wasn't expecting. So until a cabinet or ROM shows up, we'll just have to wonder. And I think that's kind of how conspiracy theories work anyway. So I've mentioned many times in the video that 1998 is the first online appearance of Polybius. But numerous sites suggest that it was mentioned much earlier than that. I mean, nerds like me, well, my dad at the time, I just hung out with them, were online with a Q-Link even on the Commodore 64, and that was in 1985, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I can't find any evidence. No screenshots, no first-hand accounts, no second-hand accounts, literally just third-hand accounts. I can't say one way or another on this one, but I'm not comfortable saying it was spoken about before 1998. The second point I feel needs some attention is regarding Stephen Roach. He's been dismissed by the community, but I can't find the reason why. his story isn't absurd. He even mentions another person in his comment, Marek Wachowski. I can't find any information on him, but the lack of evidence doesn't make the opposite true. That's the appeal to ignorance fallacy. So I don't know what to make of the story. When you read the articles with the phraseology of calling his comment a manifesto, it can skew your opinion on the matter, and I'm not trying to have my opinion skewed. So until I see some concrete evidence one way or another, I'm still keeping him in the back of my mind in terms of a realistic possible origin of the legend. Another thing is I can't find any clippings of law enforcement agents raiding arcades. Everything I've read about is about drug busts or homicides. I'm fully aware that there were gambling raids in terms of pinball machines, but that predates 1981 by a long shot. For me to feel comfortable asserting that the raids on arcades were real in terms of gambling, I need to see at least a news article from the time, not just an account of what people said happened. And as for deaths in arcades, I used the stabbing deaths of 4 employees because it was related to the Portland, Oregon arcade I'd been talking about. But there is a confirmed death, by heart attack, on Saturday, April 3rd, 1982. Peter Bukowski arrived at Friar Tuck's game room at Calumet City, Illinois for an evening of video games. After playing Berserk for 15 minutes, Bukowski turned to drop another quarter in the game and suddenly dropped dead of a heart attack. Though an autopsy revealed 2-week-old scar tissue on the teenager's heart, news reports supposedly appeared blaming the excitement and stress caused by Berserk for causing the attack. That's not too far off from the 1981 possible origins, but it was in Illinois. Take from that what you will, but I'm certain things do get jumbled in people's memories. Okay, and the last thing, I'll include a bit of a backstory here. In 2012, 4 years after I started my career in the film industry, I thought it might be cool to work on a documentary. The subject I chose was Polybius. I started gathering information and resources. Marriage, work, children, divorce, and the occasional date later, fast forward to 2025 and I'm finally working on that documentary. So I ended up downloading a ROM called Polybius. I did my due diligence and made a text file sourcing where I downloaded the ROM from. It was from tommysworld.110mb.com/Polybius, and I don't think I ever loaded it up.
No. We'll do it live! F*** it!
Alright, let's show everybody why I do things scripted instead of on the fly. If I remember correctly, we just go ahead and copy this to ROMs. Let's load MAME up. Oops, wrong window again. So let's see here. Available. And of course there's nothing. Actually, that's not a bad sign. Alright. Oh, there we go. That'll do it. Yes. Alright, let's see what... Okay, that's not a bad sign either. Alright. Let's see. Oh, shoot. Is that because it's... That might be because it's a zip file. Where's my thing? Alright, let's just extract this. And let's see. Let's extract to Polybius. Let's try again. Oops, God. Oh! Great. Tempest. Revision 1, Revision 2, And Tempest... What the hell's Tempest Tubes? Oh, it's a hack. I got it. Okay. Wait, but that's the ROM. That ROM is used in all of these. All right. Let's see if there's any ROMs that are unidentified. Duh. Am I doing it wrong? Yes. I can't believe I have to go file by file. Okay, this looks all the same. Oh, why do I keep going there? Okay, and that one's not used in any hacks. This is just f***ing Tempest. I'm gonna check all of them, but this is not quite what I was hoping for. Tempest. This might be Tempest Tubes because the ROM hack. What is that? Manufacturer hack by Duncan Brown. All right. What do we have? 2 more. Okay, so this is. I'm guessing that this is the Tempest Tubes hack. You know what? F it. I don't even care. It's the ROM hack. Oh my god, if I wanted something that anticlimactic, I would ask my doctor for a higher SSRI dose. Okay, that's it. I'm done. That's the last episode in the series. Time to move on to other topics. It's probably just an urban legend, but there's enough basis in reality that if a realistic ROM showed up, I would not dismiss it entirely. I want to give a massive shout out to WoKaMi for agreeing to let me use his band's amazing electro music. I've linked his channel downstairs, definitely give it a listen, there's some great music in there. As always, all video sources are listed throughout the video itself. Everything else is listed in the ongoing credits. I've listed a few of the upcoming videos in no particular order at the end of the credit sequence. But if there's a specific topic you were interested in, leave a comment downstairs. I'm happy to investigate and have my hand at it. And let's change the end tag to what I genuinely believe. Peace, do no harm, love if you can. Thank you for watching.
Finally, the U.S. military is about to start using modified video games to train aircraft pilots and tank drivers.